In the West, they're trying to say Putin's completely the bad guy. He's not. They ignore it. America just vetoes it. They don't respect international law because they're America. They're the big boss. Fuck you. What's sad about any war is it's always the normal people who suffer. And it's also sad in wars where there's never a good guy and a bad guy. One guy's half good, half bad. The other guy's half good, half bad. He has reasons, and his reasons are very logical and sound. And anybody who researches it understands what his reasons are. And Ukraine's not completely the bad guy either. So it's a nuanced, difficult one. It's hard. And those are the worst ones. And it's always the people at the bottom of society who get fucked. Even as a man, the men who are getting destroyed in a trench, getting blown to pieces by artillery. And it's terrible, right? Because they don't stand a chance. But they're like the lower levels of society. If you're an important guy, you either got out or you're an officer or whatever. Even in something as baseline as war, if you're a man of high status, you don't end up in the trench. But if you're just Joe Schmo, you end up doing the fucking dirty work. And in a war, it's the worst, man. And it's really a shame because I watch it on both sides and I see it and it almost brings tears to my eyes. All this shit's going to happen. I was in Vietnam with my brother. We were there and we were chilling. I'll say, T, if we were here 20 years ago, we'd be like enemies. And now no one gives a fuck. Now it's, hey, you want a party? Want a shot? Mm-hmm. It's like all these people are going to die. And then in whatever time when the war is going to end, it's going to be like, doop-de-doo, on we go. It's fucking sad, bro. It's really sad. And especially as a man, I feel affinity with all those warriors who are out there. And a lot of them are dying and you never stood a chance. Yeah. You're just sitting there with your boys and boom. Well, they give you the propagandized version, right? They give you the propaganda that Putin's a crazy man who's lost his mind and da-da-da. And that's not the case at all. The true case is that NATO, when the USSR fell, NATO said it will not expand 1 inch eastward. That's what they promised Putin. Since then, they've expanded eastward nonstop. They have Lithuania, Estonia, Romania, Poland, Bulgaria, Turkey. They've just expanded, right? They've expanded all the way to Russia's border. And Russia and Putin have taken them to international court repeatedly saying, listen, this is against the rules. You said you're not going to do this. You keep breaking the agreement you signed. If Russia was putting missiles in Canada and Mexico City and expanding towards your border with military bases, you wouldn't be happy either. So he's taken them to court repeatedly. They ignore it. America just vetoes it. They don't respect international law because they're America. They're the big boss. Fuck you. Boom. Veto. So Putin's sitting there saying, listen, I've done everything legally. I've done everything I'm supposed to do. I've told you guys to stop encroaching on us. You keep encroaching on us. You're expanding now. And Ukraine is the final line. You're not going to let Ukraine join NATO. Ukraine gets this new leader funded by the West. And he starts talking about joining NATO. And Russia's like, no, you're not. You're not going to do that. Also, couple into the fact that a lot of ethnic Russians in the East, Ukraine has been decimating them. They talk about what's happening now, but they never talked about this war starting in 2014. Ukraine's been shelling its own towns in the East, which are pro-Russian, for years. So there's people who are living in these pro-Russian settlements getting blown up by their own Ukrainian military. They call them separatists, whatever. So Ukraine's been committing war crimes for a very long time anyway. So Putin's just said, look, Ukraine's the final straw. You're not going to join NATO. And then they start talking too tough about joining NATO. And this is what's kind of interesting about geopolitics, because anyone who's a friend of America is completely arrogant. So the Russians have gone to the Ukrainians and said, listen, in 1991, we were the same country. All of you leaders, you were born as Russians, right? Now you're saying you want to be NATO. That's unacceptable. So we're going to do a deal. No, we're not doing a deal. Fuck you. CIA said, fuck you. Damn. And then Putin's like, well, let's talk about this. No, fuck you. CIA said, fuck you. Fuck you. Eventually, if your little brother keeps running his mouth, eventually you're gonna be like, listen, you know? But yeah, so it's just kind of like, you look at an analogy. You're Russia. NATO is your enemy to a degree. If you see your enemy in the end of your garden, and every day you say, don't move, and he takes one step, eventually, are you gonna wait for him to get in the house? Or are you gonna walk out to your garden and say, I fucking told you? Mm-hmm. So like, he has his arguments. He has his reasons. Yeah. So and they don't say any of this in the West.